Hey guys, what's going on? It's David here from Scizorxphlosion, and I'm joined here by my daughter Leia, and she's got her Derpy Charizard here with her, what she calls Derpy Charizard, is Dragonite. And today, guys, we're going to be bringing you Zoroark Lycanroc Control with a lot of the new support from Lost Thunder. Zoroark Lycanroc was my favorite deck last format. I piloted it all season long. It was Zoroark Lycanroc. I loved it. This is Zoroark Lycanroc, but with some twists in it. We've got some new Pokemon, some new players coming in to support Zoroark. So y'all be sure and leave a like and comment down below if you enjoyed the video. Be sure to support us at Patreon, patreon.com/Scizorxphlosion, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Scizorxphlosion. And without further ado, guys, let's get on to the video. I'd also like to mention, too, that we are going to be doing a giveaway once we reach 200 subscribers. This time we're going to be giving away an Elite Trainer box of whatever the current set may be. So if we reach 200 subscribers today, we would give away an Elite Trainer box of Lost Thunder. If we reach it in February, we'll be giving away an Elite Trainer box of Team Up. So, 200 subscribers, Elite Trainer box giveaway. So y'all stay tuned for that. And without further ado, guys, let's get on to the video. To start off, it wouldn't be a Zoroark deck without 4 copies of Zorua. Zorua is your baseline for your Zoroark. We do have the 60 HP, which is the only HP we have, but it does have great synergy with Professor Elm's Lecture, which we do also play in this deck. 4 copies of Zoroark GX. There he is, the big boy. Zoroark GX is an awesome Pokemon. He's just great all around. He has several good things going for him. First of all is his ability trade. Once per turn, before your attack, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw 2 cards. That is an amazing ability. And then we've got Riotous Beating, which is the attack for a single double colorless energy, a single attachment. You can do 20 damage times the amount of Pokemon you have in play, so up to 120, but we can buff that up pretty easily in this deck. We have Trickster GX, but we don't ever use it, so we don't have any Darkness Energy. We do have access to it, because we do play the Unit Energy in this deck. So, if you wanted to use Trickster, you could, if you wanted to. But Zoroark is just an awesome Pokemon. He's proven himself to be one of the best Pokemon in the format. He brings consistency to almost any deck that he's in, so on and so forth. And now on to the next Pokemon, guys. 2 copies of Rockruff. Now we have 2 different Rockruffs here, both with 60 HP. We have the Rockruff with the corner and the Wild Kick, which is the standard that most people use. I also use the Rock Throw Rockruff, the promo Rockruff from the starter deck, just because to give us a little variety of attacks. We do have Rock Throw that can deal 30 damage. That's 60 with a Choice Band. We can hit anything that's fighting weak for 120 damage. So, just other attacking options. Most of the time we do not attack with our Rockruffs, though. So 2 copies of Rockruff, and followed up closely by 2 copies of Lycanroc GX. Lycanroc GX is an amazing Pokemon. He has proved himself time and time again to be a great partner for some of these Pokemon like Zoroark and Buzzwole. With that Bloodthirsty Eyes ability, you can, when you evolve it, you can choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and bring it to the active. Pretty awesome for targeting down those Pokemon that you want to take down. And then Claw Slash hits for 110 for fighting double colorless, and Dangerous Rogue is our GX tag of choice in this deck. Fighting colorless does 50 damage times the amount of bench Pokemon your opponent has in play. Pretty amazing GX tag. Rockruff on the bench with 1 energy on it is a threat. So your opponent, you usually Guzma up that bench Rockruff with 1 energy and take it out before it has any chance of doing anything to them. Next up, we do have a 1/1 line of Sneasel Weavile. I love Weavile in this deck. We play the 60 HP Sneasel so we can search it out with Professor Elm's Lecture. And then we play Weavile with Evil Admonition. We don't use Icy Wind, so I'll just skip over that attack. Weavile does have 90 HP and a 1 retreat cost, which is useful. With the attack Evil Admonition, does 50 damage times the amount of each of your opponent's Pokemon that has an ability. So if they have 3 Pokemon out, you hit 150 damage for a single Darkness Energy. We don't play Darkness Energy in the deck, but we do play Unit Energy, so Evil Admonition is an awesome attack. I've used this attack online against things like, I think I went up against a Alolan Exeggutor deck. I had Devoured Field down, they had Lurantis, they had 2 Lurantises down, and they had a Grovyle, so that was 160 damage, easily one-shotting their Alolan Exeggutor. Next up, before I go on to the next Pokemon, I would like to also mention that I have considered upping the line of Weavile in this deck just because she is that good. There's so many Pokemon in the format right now that rely on their abilities and rely on Pokemon that have abilities that are in play. I just mentioned the Lonely Exeggutor. They have things like Lurantis, and they have the Grovyle with the ability to let them search the deck for any Grass-type Pokemon. What was that? Sunshine Grace is what it's called. Ditto Prism Star is coming into play too as an evolution Pokemon. So, I mean, there's so many Pokemon in the game right now that have abilities, and Weavile can take advantage of that. Next up, we have a 1-1 line of Slugma and Magcargo. We use the 70 HP one because it does have a 2 retreat cost. If we get stuck in the active, we can attach Double Colorless and retreat. The one that has 80 HP, has 3 retreat costs, so it's a little bit hard to manage. If we ever have to hard retreat with a Slugma, though, we'd rather do it with this one. And then we play one Magcargo, and this is an awesome Pokemon in this deck. I've used this many, many times. I always try to make sure it's not prized when I do my first search of the game. You've got that ability, Smooth Over, that lets you search your deck for any card, shuffle your deck, and put that card back on top. Then you can easily get it with Trade, Kukui, anything like that. So I've been able to stall my opponents out by like searching out a Acerola, and then putting it on top of the deck, and then Aceroling my Zoroark. Use the trade on that Zoroark first, and evolve a bench Zoroark I've got. Use another trade. Pretty awesome. Smooth Over, just awesome to guarantee you get anything you want out of your deck at the time that you need it. The next Pokemon we play, guys, is Ditto Prism Star. This is probably one of the best cards from Lost Thunder. It's finding its way into so many decks in the format right now with that ability, Almighty Evolution. Once during your turn, you may put a Stage 1 Pokemon from your hand onto this Pokemon to evolve it. You can't use it on the first turn or the turn this Pokemon was put into play. So basically this means that any of these 1-1 lines that we have, this Ditto can become Magcargo, it can become Weavile, it can become Lycanroc, it can become Zoroark. Any of the stage 1s that we have in this deck, Ditto can become any of them. Look at him with putting up his little fisticuffs. He's ready to get into the fight. See? He's like, come on, come at me. Yeah, Ditto Prism Star is an awesome Pokemon. 1 retreat cost 40 HP is kind of bad, just because you can be one-shotted by Jet Punch without any boosts, because you do have that fighting weakness. But Ditto is versatile. Versatility is the name of the game with Ditto. He is such a versatile Pokemon, being able to be a threat just by himself on your bench, being able to evolve into anything you've got in your hand, and your opponent doesn't know what to expect. So 1 copy of Ditto Prism Star. We have one more 1-of in this deck, and it is a 1-of Baby Buzzwole. Baby Buzzwole, awesome Pokemon, proven himself time and time again to be a great Pokemon. He even has his own centric deck around him. And he's got 130 HP, and the main attack we use here is Sledgehammer. If your opponent has exactly 4 prize cards remaining, this attack does 90 more damage. So you hit for 120 damage with a single fighting energy. We do play 1 fighting energy in this deck, but we also play the unit energy in here as well. So 1 copy of Baby Buzzwole can be pretty clutch sometimes. And to end off the Pokemon, guys, 2 copies of Tapu Lele GX with that Wonder Tag ability to search out those supporters whenever we need them. Great for grabbing those Elm's Lectures first turn. Elm's Lecture, as you guys know, replaces Bridget as the new search to get 3 Pokemon out of the deck. So Tapu Lele is an awesome card, great resource. We do have access to Double Colorless Energy, so we can use Energy Drive if we need to. And my daughter just dropped the next card. It's right down there, sis. Alright, next up, we're going on to the supporters, guys. 3 copies of Cynthia. I only play 3 in this deck just because I feel like I don't need the 4th. Once you have Zoroark up and rolling, you're really just trading your hand away. So you can trade these Acerolas away mid to late game. Or, not Acerolas, Cynthias. You can trade these Cynthias away mid to late game in order to get the cards you need into your hand. And once you get Magcargo set up, I mean, you really don't need Cynthia as much. But it is still there for the early game. Shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 6 cards. Probably the best draw supporter in the game right now. Then we do play 3 copies of Professor Elm's Lecture. I've mentioned this before. This card is basically replacing Bridget as your search for your Zoruas on the first turn. You can search your deck for 3 Pokemon with 60 or less HP and add them to your hand. This is better than Bridget in a lot of ways, just because you can get them to the hand. If you want to search out something you don't want to necessarily put on the bench at the time, you can just search it out, add it to your hand, and then put the Pokemon down you want to put down. Bad news is that you can't search for things like Buzzwole, you can't search for Slugma, but other than that, and Tapu Lele, of course, but other than that, everything else in our deck is searchable, besides evolutions. But yeah, Professor Elm's Lecture is good. It's better than Bridget in some ways, and it's worse than Bridget in some ways, but hey, we're dealt the hand we dealt, and I honestly like Professor Elm's Lecture a lot in this deck. 3 copies of Guzma to target down those Pokemon we want to take down or get some of our Pokemon out of the active that we need out of there. If we start Slugma, which I surprisingly have done so many times with this deck. I don't know why. I play one Slugma and I get it in the active all the time, starting. Don't know why. I play 4 Zoruas. Why can't I start a Zorua? But anyway, sometimes we need to get those Pokemon out of the active that we need to get onto the bench, like Slugma, or we just need to target down those Pokemon we need to take down of our opponents. Really great card. 2 copies of Judge. Zoroark is one of those decks that abuses Judge very well just because you have the trade and you're able to trade out of your Judge hands. So Judge is a great card for disruption. Zoroark loves Judge. I love judging my opponent's first turn or even second turn after I get a Zoroark up. Really great play and really good for Zoroark to abuse. 2 copies of Acerola. I've considered upping the Acerola line to 3, but right now I think 2 is fine. You get to choose one of your Pokemon that has damage counters on it and put it into your hand, as well as all cards attached to it. So this is really good prize denial against your opponent. I mentioned this before. I played against an Alolan Exeggutor deck online, and they were just whacking into me, and every turn I'd just smooth over, get an Acerola, pick that Zoroark up, and then deal some more damage and knock their Exeggutor out. But yeah, prize denial is very important, especially on things like Zoroark, just because he gives away 2 prizes. So, what? I know that. Ending the supporters, as my daughter just had to point out to me. 2 copies of Professor Kukui. To add that little extra damage to our Zoroarks, it is possible for Zoroark to hit 180. You have to have a full bench, Choice Band, Devoured Field, and Kukui. And really, it's not as complicated as it sounds. That is 4 cards you have to have. But you're easily able to get all of those cards with your Macargo and your Zoroark trades. So Kukui lets you deal an extra 20 damage with your attacks and also lets you hit another 2 cards. So basically a trade. So there we go. That's the end of the supporters, guys. Starting off with the items. 4 copies of Ultra Ball, your standard search for any Pokemon deck. Search a deck for any Pokemon by discarding 2 cards from your hand, reveal it, and add it to your hand. 2 copies of Great Ball. I still love Great Ball in this deck. It's a great card. Ha! Great Ball. Great card. Ha! It's really great in Zoroark decks because you play an abundance of Pokemon. And Great Ball lets you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose a Pokemon you find there, and add it to your hand, then shuffle the other cards back into your deck. 2 copies of Choice Band. Choice Band helps us deal that little extra damage, as I mentioned before with the Kukui and Devoured Field combo. You do need Choice Band in order to hit 180, and there's so many Pokemon in the format right now that do have 180 HP, like Rayquaza GX, like Bucephalon GX. Tapu Lele GX can also be a threat, but you can do that without the Devoured Field to knock it out. 2 copies of Choice Band. 2 copies of Bodybuilding Dumbbells. Bucephalon is going to be a threat, people. And Bodybuilding Dumbbells gives your Zoroark 250 HP, so unless they have Choice Band and Beast Energy, they're going to have to Lost Zone 5 energies in order to knock out your Zoroarks. So Bodybuilding Dumbbells is a great choice, not just against Bucephalon. You can survive things like Unboosted Sledgehammer, as long as they don't have Deancey down, or a Choice Band. They can hit for 120, that does 240, so you're still surviving with 10 HP left. 1 copy of Counter Gain. This is mainly here for your Lycanroc GX. If your opponent is able to knock out one of your Zoruas early game, you can come in with Lycanroc and attack for a single fighting energy. Pretty awesome stuff. You can also use it on Zoroark if you have to, and attach just a unit energy or a fighting energy in order to attack with Riotous Speeding. Pretty awesome, but we only do play 1 copy because that's about all the use it has, mainly for Lycanroc GX. 1 copy of Rescue Stretcher to get those Pokemon back that we need. You get to choose 1, put 1 Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand, or shuffle 3 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. And the last item we play, guys, is 1 copy of Palpad. Palpad's really great for getting back like your Acerolas, mid to late game, getting back your Kukuis, stuff like that, maybe your Judges. And this is probably the main reason I haven't upped the Acerolas to 3. Just because I do play Palpad, so I can smooth over for it if I need to, and get those Acerolas back into the deck, get those Kukuis back into the deck, in order to start doing my combos once again. That's it for the items, guys. We're going to go on to our supporters, or stadiums. 3 copies of Devoured Field. I feel it's very important for a lot of decks to have stadiums this format, just because we do have the introduction of the Prism Star stadiums, and you can't use things like Field Blower to get rid of them. You can't use things like Bonnie to get rid of them. The only way to do it is to play a stadium of your own, or to use a Pokemon attack that discards a stadium, such as White Koreum or Gyarados GX's main attack. Stuff like that. You probably won't see Gyarados just because he doesn't see a lot of play. But Devoured Field lets your Dark and Dragon Pokemon hit 10 more damage. So it may not sound like a lot, but 10 really is a lot. Excuse me. Things that let you do is like you can hit 130 HP with Zoroark, able to no one-shot things like Baby Buzzwole. You're able to one-shot things like Lugia, Shining Lugia. You just knock out those 130 HP Pokemon that are just out of range of Zoroark to one-shot. And to end off the deck, guys, we got 4 copies of Double Colorless Energy, because you need them to attack with your Zoroarks. 4 copies of Unit Energy, the Fairy, Fighting, and Darkness. These are all for our Buzzwoles, our Weaviles, our Lycanrocs, and we can even play them on Zoroark if we have to use Trickster GX. And then a single Fighting Energy to end off the energies, guys. And that is the deck. I love this deck. This deck is powerful. It is awesome. It may look like a big jumbled mess a little bit. There's a lot of Pokemon, but really it all comes together. I mean, if something like your Weavile is prized, you can always go for your Rockruff, or you can go for your Slugma or something like that. Ditto Prism Star can become anything, so if you do happen to have like Sneasel prized, and you still have the Weavile in the deck, and you still have Ditto, then you can still go for the Weavile play if you need to. But you guys leave me some comments down below. Let me know your suggestions on the deck, your thoughts. Maybe you like the deck as is. Maybe there's some certain cards you would put in your own Zoroark Lycanroc deck. But let us know in the comment section below. Leave us a like down below if you enjoyed the video. And this is David and Leia from Scizorxphlosion, and we'll catch you guys all next time.